Hey everyone, Paul Akers. You know, it's 2019, we're at the end of the year, and I always like to do my end of year message. What is the most important thing I've learned on my lean journey this year? Well, believe it or not, are you ready for this? It's gonna shock you. Our training sucks. Why would I say that? You know, we have some amazing targets at FastCap. Number one, 2 hours fax to truck. From the time you place the order to the time we bake, build, package, and ship, 2 hours, which is pretty astounding. And then of course we want to banish sloppiness and fall in love with precision, and we do very high quality work. And we probably make about 2 or 3 mistakes a week, and those mistakes get caught downstream by somebody else. But I thought to myself, you know, is that really what we want to do? What we really want is we want everyone to pass quality on to the next person. So the next person, their job is to build quality. It's not to inspect the quality that somebody else did, but indeed that's kind of what we were doing. We were hoping that we did perfect work, but we knew that downstream all of our excellent team members that were paying attention to detail and precision would catch a mistake if it happened. But that's really wrong thinking. The correct thinking is that we do perfect work. 0 mistakes, and that we pass work on to the next station, to the next person, and the only thing they're thinking about is their work and how to do perfect work to pass it on to the next person. But that's not what we were doing. And then when we took a hard look at why that was happening, and we really did a Hansei, we realized we really didn't do a very good job of training, because when we looked at all the ways that people were doing our processes, there was a little bit of variation, and that little bit of variation created these defects. Now, most people would say our training is incredible. We have QR codes and videos for almost every process in our company. I've never heard of any company that has that. We have literally thousands of training videos. We're very meticulous, very careful about that. If you're not sure how to do something, you simply watch the video. And when we get a new person, we train them on the process and let them watch the video. But our training, that initial training, was really not that good. And I'll tell you how this all occurred to me. I was in Japan. I was in one of the tier 2 suppliers for Toyota and Lexus. And I was standing at a work area where injection molding parts were coming off the machine, and they were immediately inspecting those parts and then assembling them into a sub-assembly. And they were training a new person. And I wish I had a video of this because it made the most incredible impression on me. But next to the new person was the Kacho, the team lead. And that team lead sat there for hours right next to that person to make sure they were doing the process perfectly. And if they got a little behind, he stepped in and made sure, in this particular case, the lady could keep on pace but still produce quality. And he never left her side. It didn't matter how long I walked away, walked back, he was right there. And I said, wow, that's some serious training. They were not gonna take any chance of a defect. Now, this particular company produced hundreds of millions of parts per year for Lexus. And you know how many mistakes? 0. 0 mistakes got to Lexus. They had gone almost 3 years without a single mistake. Why? Training. They made sure their people absolutely knew precisely how to do the step, the process. So much so that even the hand motion, what hand you grab the part with, how you rotate the part, where you look, where you mark the line for the inspection points on every inspection point, everything was precise. And they didn't release that person until they could do that process perfectly. So much so that they had to go 3 months without making a single defect. And every one of the parts that they produced for those 3 months, 100% inspection. And if they produced 1 defect in that 3-month period, they had to go back and repeat the entire process, retraining, and then go an additional 3 months without a single mistake. That's how crazy they are about training. So we have implemented a similar system at FastCap, and lo and behold, it's producing some pretty astounding results. And you know what? The burden is lifted off of the people downstream, because the people downstream now don't have to worry about whether or not they're getting perfect parts, because they're getting perfect parts. But what they do focus on is producing perfect parts. So I realized, in reality, as good as our training was, and most people are astounded by our training, it really sucked. I'll give you one more example. Recently, we hired a new employee, and Isaiah walked in after a 5-day test day, and I asked him, "How do you like your job? On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you like working here?" And he said, "A 10. I said, "A 10? How could it be a 10? And he said, "Yeah, a 10. I said, "Why?" Nande, the Japanese word. Nande, why? And he said, "Because I've never been in a place like this that trains so well." Now, his impression was that he'd never experienced training at this high level. But yet we produce defects 2 or 3 a week. But yet in Japan, at the tier 2 suppliers, they produce no defects in 3 years. That might say something about our world-class training. Maybe we're really not so good. So I would challenge all of you. How good is your training? Are you chasing your tail? Are you chasing mistakes? Are you chasing rework? Maybe it's your training. I know it was for us. Have a great 2020.